Hi and welcome to tutorial number 3. In this one I'll be covering the world editing commands in game, but before we do that I just wanted to quickly cover two commands I forgot in the second tutorial. The first one is BCPDF, which is player data files. It's probably the quickest and the most efficient way to get a list of Steam IDs and the last write of the file, and if they're in the persistent data, their name and last online Vs as well. The reason for that is if you do a list players command with all and there's more than a few thousand player files, it can lag the server. So best thing to do for a server manager is use this command to get all of the Steam IDs and then just poll for individual data as you need it. And what was the other one? BC assets, that's right. So you got just a few info commands basically, so like the overlays that you can use for your UMA, slots and that, particles that you can use for attaching to buffs and so on, textures which will give you the, the texture, what do you call it, names and such for the in-game paint system, meshes, which gives you the, what is that? That's the XML for the mapping of texture ID, and where is it? Somewhere in there. Material stone and the image file that was used. So if you extracted that, and you could tidy it up and get a nice list of the IDs used on the blocks files, and which number and such they go with. And lastly, item icons is obvious, but resources. So this one can cause your server to load a bit more memory, so I only use it on a non-production server. It will pump the memory up to about 1500 or so. It's basically loading in all resources, and if we do a pp on that, make it a bit pretty, so you can see everything that's in the resource file, which is a lot. You can just group by type. Right, so having said all that, let's jump in game. Slacker. Probably done about twice that out of game working on mods and such. So the new version of the blocks command now shouldn't have any issues with multi-dim blocks like it was. There was a delayed update on stability being caused by multi-dim blocks being removed by a child being removed, so I'd set the stability, and then after the fact the game would set it again and make everything crash or collapse. I've also fixed the lighting issues with the block command. It wasn't updating the chunk lighting, so that should be working properly now. And I haven't reviewed the prefab command yet. It might still have some issues with multi-dim blocks, but I'll add the remove code in. Oh, better get on debug mode quickly because all those entities I spawned are still there. Actually, there'll only be one wolf, I think, from memory. Any time now. I suppose I could remove them too. Right. So as you can see, I've been playing around a bit already. We'll just go somewhere nice and clear. Better change that to non-explosive before I blow myself up. So the base command is, or rather, whoops, the first command you'll need is the lock command. So it gives you the current location. It also stores your current location for use in what do you call it? The other commands, world editing. So the ground height is only indicating the difference between your Y position and what the server believes is ground height. If you're inside a building, that won't be a true representation of whether or not you're underground. So it's H, you got C, which will tell you which chunk you're in and which block of that chunk you're in, and R, which will tell you which region you're in. Right, so do lock and then go diagonally, so I'm heading southwest to make a box, and then you can find somewhere that's not blocked by a tree, and then you can do block and either an ID or a the name of the item, the block rather. So one is stone. If we do that, our area will fill up with stone. And anything with /undo on the end will do the undo. So you don't have to just retype block and push up an arrow and then type /undo on the end. What else we got? So the lock's still stored, so even though I've done the command I can reuse it again. We'll do a block and then scan, and you can even scan specifically for so there's no stone. It's 14,632 air blocks, or you can do start a scan for all of it. Forget PP. So from this we can see the different blocks that are in the area. One other option I've added to block is was it del multi, and do star for everything that's multi-dim, so that will remove all of the trees. Oh, did it? No, it didn't. I might have to update that. Might only be doing the specific ones now. So if we do resource rock 630, and our resource rocks are gone. That might just been a bad update. Chunk refresh before, it seems to nuke the trees anyway. You can also do block swap. So the first one is what you're swapping it with. Steel block to make it obvious, and we'll replace, say, the snow, which is 9. Turn all the snow into steel blocks, just like that. And another useful thing you can do with the swap command is go underground, fly way down, and turn all of the all of the stone. So I'd swap stone into replace steel blocks into where stone is. And now, because steel blocks don't have an inside mesh, when you go inside it effectively looks transparent and you can see where all of the ore veins are, which I think is pretty cool. I need a light. That's better. And because the steel also has no collision, you can essentially destroy it. And then obviously you can just do a undo, and it turns it all back. And there'll be a little hollow spot there probably. must have undone the changes I made there. What else? So, who said that? You can also trim the trees by just replacing air some part way through them. Assuming it works. Might have been too high. No, there we go. Oh, missed some. Alright, so then you got the export command. So say we wanted to hate that. Yeah, break my leg down. So if we wanted to export this lovely looking house, it's simple as do a lock in one corner, go to the other corner, type export, go to name, done. And it tells you where it was from and the size, and then you can go wherever and import test, and this will import it centered on your position. You can also do, so if we face southeast and import slash southeast, did I get that right? Yep, imports it to the southeast of us. So you could actually go over somewhere. Oh, and so the second variable will be the position, the rotation rather. So you could do that, then go northeast 1, northwest rotation 2, southwest rotation 3. And we have, not quite so good, but you get the idea. You can also use explicit coordinates to import it wherever you want, so just do that to find out where it is and move away. And when you use explicit coordinates, it inserts to the northeast, I think it was. So it's prefab name first for the import, 106 minus 153, and need a rotation as well when you're doing coordinates. And there it is. So you can also do exports using the coordinates. So I wanted to level up. So just find out what those coordinates are, but we can then go export minus 50, 109, minus 158, minus 56, 115, minus 152, to test 2, and then we can import test 2, and it will appear over there in our house. So that's a handy way to store the position of your prefab that you're working on or whatever, and then you can export it repeatedly. One thing I like to do once I've exported is to go underground and import, oops, and that will, assuming I've gone down far enough, will give you the you can see where the air blocks go. Anyway, that's all the commands for import export covered, so I'll see you in the next tutorial.